Greetings, YouTube, and welcome to episode 16 of the Encyclopedia Magica, Volume 1. At this rate, there'll be more episodes of this than there will be of the 400 question challenge I'm doing. We are still in armor, aren't we? Yes, we are still in armor, all right. Lariel's Storm, named for the wizardess? I guess wizardess works. I gotta be honest, I don't know if I've ever really thought about the feminine version of wizard. For me, generic, it's a generic term. It's like sorcerer. I guess there is sorceress. That's a little more common. But wizardess? That doesn't sound right in the tongue. It feels weird. Who devised it, storm armor is plate armor plus 2 of a particular non-metallic alloy. It does not conduct electricity, and has the power to transfer heat to and from the surrounding air so that the wearer remains comfortable during the freezing gale or under the hottest desert sun. Intriguing. So it is a one-way path in the direction that you want it to be. The wearer is thus unaffected by fireball, ice storm, or cone of cold spells, immune to electrical damage of any kind. Now, hold on a second. This is an XP value of 1800 and a GP value of 13,500. And it makes you completely immune? This is from Dragon Magazine. Maybe that's why. Maybe their criteria is a little on the sloppier side, or was at least at the time. But unaffected by fireball, ice storm, or cone of cold spells? And immune to electrical damage of any kind. The wearer can stand securely or move forward by normal speed in the face of even the most powerful wind, including a magical gust of wind. If storm armor is struck simultaneously in different areas by spells causing hot and cold, such as cone of cold, yada yada yada, it becomes brittle and may be shattered by physical attacks doing at least 9 points of damage. That's weird. Is this just 9 specific points of damage? The character takes all damage inflicted over 9 points. The armor is only brittle while both hot and cold spell affects it and for 1 round afterward. When it shatters, it does so thoroughly. A chain reaction occurs in the unstable components of the alloy, and the armor it disintegrates into useless pieces. How often does that happen? That's an incredibly, unbelievably powerful suit of armor. Now, it can be said that one of the reasons that mages, a generic term for arcane casters that I tend to use, can't wear heavy armors because of the mobility restrictions. So it may not just be metal, because if that were true, you could just use ironwood wooden armor or chitinous armor or something like that, and you could have always worn it. So yeah, I prefer the D20 and your Pathfinder versions, wherein it just gives you a massive penalty to your doing lots of things, and it prevents you from doing certain things. But yeah, that's just weird. All right. Lemminkainen's, that sounds familiar. Armor avatar usually wears chainmail plus 4. Okay, it's an avatar armor. Okay, we have a missile attraction. No XP value, but it's worth money. There's 4 different levels. This is from first edition DMG. This armor appears to be a normal suit of magical armor, determined its type and modifier normally. However, the armor is cursed and actually serves to attract missiles. The wearer is 2 or 3 times more likely to be selected as a random missile target than normal, because in cases where each person is the target of a set number of missiles, the wearer has a greater number of missiles fired at him or her. At least they recognize the him or her pronouns. Wasn't that nice of them? Magical protection of the armor fails when calculated for missile attacks. The true nature is not revealed until the character is fired upon in earnest. Simple experiments throwing rocks and etc. will do not suffice. Well, what if the person throwing the rock at you really wants to hurt the person? Hey, could you test my armor? And the guy's actually like, yeah, I'll test your armor. Who knows? Then we have Mourner's armor, as in like to mourn. No XP value and 8,000 GP. This is Secrets of the Lamp. This suit of lamellar armor is often edged with yellow, gold, red, or other bright colors, but the plates are also always black. That can be kind of pretty. Individual suits vary from +2 to +4 in enchantment, but all provide the complete protection from normal missiles. Kind of the opposite of the last one. This armor is a product of the Great Ghoul Shair, and its protection is very mixed blessing. When the wearer suffers 50% or more damage in battle, he or she no longer feels pain. At this point, the GM should stop telling the armor wearer how much damage the character takes. All wounds feel trivial. Wow, that could be dangerous. At 75% or more damage, the wearer is filled with a feeling of invincibility and continues fighting no matter what the odds. The PC is now an NPC for the duration of the battle. You should get some kind of saving throw, I think, against that. If he or she survives, the curse is still relentless. Magical healing is useless on the victim, and only time can heal his wound. If the PC is slain, he or she does not notice and continues fighting, though any companions may hear his or her bones shatter or see terrible wounds inflicted on the wearer. The victim lives, quote unquote, for as many days as the character has levels, as his or her trapped life force is consumed by the armor. Neither priest nor wizard spells can regain, though the Shairs can still request spells. At the end of this time, the PC is irrevocably dead. Only a wish spell or the will of the Great Ghoul Shair can undo the curse of the mourner's armor once it has been actively in battle. Well, it's pretty damn dangerous armor, but that could be very interesting in an adventure. That could be very cool. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a major plot point. The characters may not know it's a major plot point, but the GM has to prepare for that. This is going to change the current situation. If this was not the path that the story was taking, it is now the path that the story is taking. Okay, then we have the Oyori of the Unknown Warrior, 2,000 XP, 12,000 GP. This is from Polyhedron Newzine. Didn't really call it a magazine back then. It's number 82. This Oriental, that's problematic. This Oriental Koza Kuran armor +2 has been enchanted to display the family Mon crest of the wearer. That's kind of cool. Instant change. When first found, the armor is stark white. However, when it is put on, it immediately turns black, and the wearer's family Mon appears on the chest plate in the appropriate colors. If a warrior is killed while wearing the armor, it returns immediately to its white state and the color of death and mourning. Yes, and there are in certain Asian cultures, white is the color of death as opposed to Europe. Most often it's black. The wearer can change the appearance of the armor, allowing the user to pass as another individual or create a disguise. The armor can duplicate any color and more than and Mon that the wearer imagines. And in order to invoke the power, the wearer must take an intelligence check at a -3 penalty. The number of hours the armor holds the false image usage is equal to the wearer's intelligence minus the die roll if successful. So the number of hours the armor holds the false equal to the intelligence minus the die roll. Were we doing under at this stage in the game? We must have been, because it was an over target. That would be worse. I hear weird sound, sorry. Then we have, check for time. We have the Plate of Solemnus, 5,000 XP, 20,000 GP. This is from the Tales of the Lance. This suit consists of field plate armor that has been beautifully tooled with the markings of all three Solemnic orders. The sigil of the Order of the Rose shows prominently on the breastplate. This suit, made when the knighthood was first established, have been used by certain knights of the Rose ever since. Vinus? Is it Vinus? Vinus Solemnus wore the first such suit, as did Huma, although he never became a knight of the Rose. Currently, such suits are scarce. It's a +5 enchantment, gives you a -3 AC, where must strictly follow the tenets of the lawful good alignment, or as armor loses its magical bonuses. Okay. Bad people take damage. I get it. Here we go. The Armor of Possession, no XP value, 10,000 GP. This is from Oriental Adventures. This armor appears to be a normal suit of armor. First time the armor is donned, and once per day thereafter, the GM must secretly roll a saving throw versus spell for the character wearing the armor. If the saving throw is successful, nothing happens. However, if the saving throw fails, the life force contained within the armor successfully possesses the character. The possession is not a sudden occurrence, but rather a gradual insinuation of the new personality onto the character and psyche. This takes 3d4 days. At the first chance, it's hardly noticeable, a few odd quirks. Not ever before a certain possessiveness towards the armor. As the days go by, possession becomes stronger, and yada. I get that. Entirely possessed. Each as such, the character does not continue old friends. Remember events of his or her. Well, you lose everything. You may change names, adopt a new alignment. So you become the new person. So it's essentially it's an engram being written completely over your brain. That could be interesting. Again, that's a big plot thing. You're going to have to be prepared for that. We have Armor of Presence, 3,000 XP, GP 30,000. Armor magically bestows on the wearer a dignified and commanding aura. What am I thinking of? Baron Munchausen. While wearing the armor, a character is treated as if she has an 18 charisma for all encounter reactions. Wow. Friendly troops within 120 feet of the wearer have their morale raised by 2 points. The armor is quite distinctive and only has its effect when visible to others. As such, the character cannot hope to use the powers of the armor and hide unnoticed in a crowd. Then we have the Armor of Quirk. There's a little asterisk after that. I don't remember what the asterisk stands for. This gets no XP or gold. This is from Dragon Magazine. The AD&D game has one of the largest compilations of magical items in the fantasy gaming industry. The following tables have been created, oh boy, to add some spice and variety to existing magical items in AD&D game world. So this is a random armor. For not all quirks are bad, however. Some are determined by the item or use. All right, so what we got here? So you roll on the chart and you get one of 4 slots. You get no quirks, 1 quirk, 2 quirks, or 3 quirks, and no quirks is 1 through 86. So you only got a 14% chance of getting a quirk. That's weird. Then you get the roll on the quirk chart. Armor is incredibly shiny and reflects light of every kind. Furthermore, any creature using a gaze attack within 10 feet of the armor has a 75% chance of seeing its own reflection. That could be helpful. Of course, you can't hide in it easily. Armor is heavy. Add 25% to its total weight and encumbrance. Armor is tight-fitting, if not oiled, at least every 3 days. The suit cramps the wearer's fighting abilities. That's That's not that detrimental. What am I hearing? Sorry. Could be the fan. I've been listening. I have had fans in the office because it was been warm today. It's not, and I guess I have just not noticed it because it's been covered. Okay, armor works normally but appears incredibly beaten and battered. That can be kind of cool. Armor is silent. The word does not clank loudly if the armor is metal. Note that the item does not mean that the wearer can move silently. The armor simply makes no noise. But still, really damn useful. Armor glows with the light of a fairy fire. Only continual darkness can negate the radiation. Armor weighs 1/4 as much as normal. That's really cool. Armor lacks magical protection ability against 1d4 specific types of creatures. That could be really dangerous if you find out the hard way. Armor is resistant to fire. It can never be burned or melted by normal or magical fire. That's cool. Armor has an Achilles heel. Every time the wearer is hit, there is a 5% chance that the heel is hit and double damage is done to the wearer. I don't know, because if you're not wearing armor, you don't get double damage. So if it hits the heel, it's effectively is not the same as not wearing armor. So it would be better, I think, to say that every time a person makes an attack against you, you roll a 5% chance, and if you get the 5% chance, the GM rolls it, then the person is now hitting an armor class that isn't what they would normally. That makes more sense to me. Armor does not magically expand or contract to fit any size wearer. Ooh, okay. That's going to be, you got to find a person that fits it. You're going to have to, this is magic armor, but it only fits like 2 guys that we know. Armor is attuned to a place of a special magical radiance in much the same way as the drow armor or drow armor. The wearer armor is not exposed to this place once every 30 days. Its magic is lost. Armor has complicated straps and is hard to put on and remove. Consequently, the time required to put on any or take it off is increased by 10 rounds. Armor cannot be scratched, stained, or dented. Armor has an inherent disruption of magic. When its wearer enjoys a +1 bonus on all saving throws, spells cannot be cast if she or he is multiclass, wizard, or spell using ranger or paladin. Armor attracts monsters. Wow, we're running along. Sorry. Armor attracts monsters. Any random encounter checks are double the normal chance. Armor is a superconductor of heat and electricity. Add damage to them for those. Should be one or the other, I think, because those are different properties. Armor does not provide magical protections if clothing if clothing or a covering is worn over it. Okay, it's egotistical armor. Armor is an exquisite piece of workmanship and commands a price of 150% over normal prices due to its quality. And lastly, armor is possessed by a spirit of random alignment. If the wearer's alignment differs from the spirit, the armor periodically attempts to possess the wearer, determine the chance of successful, yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right. So we're going to call it there because we've gone pretty damn far into this, and that begins the R section anyway. That's very convenient. So thank you for being here for episode 16 of the Encyclopedia Volume 1 series. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will be here for the next one, and I hope I can figure out how to make that sound go away.